Let me talk about Hurricane Sally. I want to thank our citizens for their resilience and their effort as teams and teamwork in terms of dealing with the issues of Sally, the storm. When we're working together, we can get things done in this city. But it takes that. It takes us actually working together. So this process involving Hurricane Sally has left our city in a disarray from trees falling, power outages, as well as many of our citizens was left without food after 3 days of being without power. So first, I want to share with you with the trash pickup related to Hurricane Sally. I want the citizens to know it's important that they assist the city in this pickup. What needs to happen is if you have debris that has come from fallen trees, it needs to remain separate from anything else. The other thing is that as we separate the limbs and those things from the fallen tree, if you have other materials, such as privacy fence and those kind of things that would destroy the process, it needs to be placed in a separate pile. And lastly, please do not put your household trash onto the piles. And in addition to that, please do not put tires onto the trash as well. Please do not do that. We cannot pick up the trash if it contains that household goods, because they go to different landfills. And so the trash trucks would be unable to pick up those materials unless it's the materials in which I identified. Tree limbs separate from other materials, construction materials, if we can share it in that way.
Let me pause a moment. Do you want to just do a pause for a minute? Sorry. Just one second.
The other part of this, what I want to really share is it's important that we record all of your losses. Make sure that we're taking pictures of your losses. And when I say losses, I'm meaning that if you have a tree falling on that.
It's just one moment. I'm sorry, can we just start back from the beginning of that piece? As soon as he gets back, let's just do a redo. Okay, go ahead.
I want to share that if you have trees that have fallen onto your home, or trees just down on your property, or even other losses, you want to take pictures. You want to memorialize that information because it's going to be important. Two parts. If you have insurance, you want to make sure that you contact your insurance company and make your claim with your insurance company. But in addition to that, you want to make sure you take the opportunity to take advantage of what FEMA and EMA have in terms of the availability of assistance. There are two ways in which to be able to do that, to make such a claim. You have FEMA, which is 1-800-621-3362. You want to call that number and get assistance and direction on how to share your information with FEMA and initiate that process. The second part is that they have a disasterassistance.gov, which is a site that you can go to as well and provide the same information as it relates to any damages that you may have had. Okay? And so you want to do that. And those things are important. And look, you want to share that with your friends and neighbors as well. And if you have any other questions, you certainly can call my office at 251-452-7800, please. And if you have any questions for assistance, please do not hesitate to call that very same number as it relates to the Hurricane Sally and the results that you're experiencing with that. And again, I just want to thank everybody for their effort and those partners who came in and restored the power here in this city. And now that most of the community is up and running and have power, so we're thankful to those agencies and all who have come out and participated from other places to help restore power here in the city. I want to thank Alabama Power, Public Works, our police department, fire department, who worked very hard through this process, and they'll continue to do a great job with that. But I want you to know that we're inundated with trash, with debris all over this city. So it's going to take time, and I'm going to ask you for your patience through this whole process, okay? But we will get it done, and we're looking at some other options as well. Maybe even some outsourced resources to help assist us in getting these things up. And that's a work in progress as it relates to that. But let me say this too. Again, I cannot reiterate enough. Make sure you're taking your pictures now and memorializing that information, because that's going to be important through all these steps. So I just wanted to reiterate that once again as it relates to that. So let's make sure we're doing that. And that, so we can get prepared, because we've already finding in other areas, they having some difficult times with this as it relates to some of the agencies that have taken place with FEMA and others as well. And so I want to make sure that we're ready. I want to make sure that we're ready to go as it relates to that, and that you have done all the things that you can do to ensure that that would take place. The next thing I want to talk about, as I said, as it relates to this agenda, I want to speak about Prichard Ward. Despite the many challenges that both the citizens and the business of the city of Prichard have, these businesses in this city, along with citizens, continue to remain hopeful that we're going to be able to work through some issues that are very concerning for them. The water bill and the method of process as it relates to. One, I've had a number of calls from businesses throughout the city who have extra, their water bill is substantial in the amount of the water bill. And what they have shared with me is that they're not seeing anyone actually reading meters. And I'm getting that same conversation from citizens as well. And what I'm asking today to try to work with Prichard Water, because I've gone there personally after the citizens had shared that with me, and when I went there to have a discussion, I was told that they could not discuss a citizen bill with me. Right? Well, okay. So let's not discuss that. Let's discuss what's your process, so that the citizens can understand how you're collecting your information as it relates to the water bill. Here's my thoughts, too. If you're going out and reading the meter, then in the billing process, it should show an actual meter reading, if that's what your charge is, or it should have an E maybe that says this is an estimated bill as it relates to it. But it should clearly explain how you're billing the citizens. And the answer certainly should not be, you probably have a loss of water on your side. It should be, we should look into that a little bit further than just that piece of conversation when the bill is extremely high. And I think they should take that effort as well to go out and check to make sure that at the meter site, where they connect that meters to the home, that is appropriately tightened to the point that water is not leaking from that particular meter. But citizens should be able to get a direct answer about the process as it relates to these water bills. I, as the mayor of the city, has asked and want to work with Prichard Water so that we can give the citizens answers to what their concerns are. So as I give this briefing today, I'm gonna ask that all citizens, again, who are having those experiences, to contact not only Prichard Water in the city, even share what you have with the media, as well in your experiences. That is the only way we're gonna come to a point, that there's a clear understanding to what's taking place in this city. I've had a number of other businesses that would love to come to the city, but have great concern about our process and our water, Prichard Water, in the way that, the high billing is taking place throughout the city. So I'm looking for a better sense of accuracy in the billing process as it relates to it. And so are the citizens who are, as I stated earlier, who are getting, out, very large bills, and unable to pay them, ranging anywhere from $200 to $2,000. And that's an extreme amount for water. I spoke with two of the local businesses as well, Mr. Coley Brown, who shared with me that he just experienced a $2,000 water bill. And that conversation is just like all the rest of it. It makes no sense. That's not his average bill. That's not a bill that reflects that same amount in a month of last year, the previous year. And so he has great concerns about that as well. I spoke to the owners of Meat Block. I had an opportunity to go out there to Meat Block and meet with them, and he felt the same way, that his meter was not being read. And we went there on the side of the building where the water meter was located. He had to pry his way into that meter just to see it. So pretty much so was able to determine no one had been in that meter in some time. And so again, in his bill being high, and have extreme concerns about that. And there were many other businesses throughout that say they don't believe that their meters are being read. So regardless of the fact that there's other issues that the city is dealing with, Prichard Water with, our citizens are crying out now, and have been crying out for some time about these high water bills. And so, and I want to share this. One of the solutions that I believe that would help, the city has, and Prichard Water has an opportunity to dig wells in this city that could accommodate the water necessary to meet the needs of the citizens here in this city. We should take advantage of that opportunity of furthering that, and hope that by doing that and having control of our own water rather than buying water from the city of Mobile, that would assist in the cost of water. And so I would want to do that. I would hope that we will be able to do that. Lastly, what I want to talk about is, as relates to the Prichard Water, is that our city council is the authority in providing those individuals who sit on the water board. And for the last 3 years now, we have failed to replace those who have come up after that 6-year term, and replace these individuals on the water board. Either we need to replace them or reaffirm them being on the board, one or the other. We can't continue to ignore that as well, and we can't continue to make excuses for those who sit on that water board. Because if you're sitting on that, you should care about the citizens in this city, as well as you having the obligation to be a board member to conduct business as a board. But you got to care about the folks which you're serving. And so I would hope that our council hear me today and really go back and reevaluate their responsibility and their duty in terms of replacing and ensuring that we got quality people sitting on this Prichard City Water Board. That's a must. Lastly, I want to go and I want to talk about, today we had an opportunity, for the last couple of days, we've had an opportunity to have food to arrive here in the city. In fact, right now, there's food that's being offloaded here in the city, which is the frozen food. Yesterday, we had some 20-something pallets delivered, water, Gatorade, and other items like that, cleaning materials and those kind of things. And today, around 5 o'clock, I would like to try to put it together so that you can come and we can share with you the blessing that has been provided to us with this food that has been delivered. As of yesterday, we had one on yesterday. I think we have 2 trucks there right now that's offloading, and what a great opportunity, what a blessing for us, because you got to recognize the fact that our city and our citizens around here have lost power, they lost their food, they need to be able to replenish where they are at home, and this is a great help in getting that accomplished, and we want to do that, right? So to the citizens of Prichard, I think that opportunity is going to come today at 5 o'clock. We will do this again and provide you with whatever those things are on those 18 wheels that have arrived. And I want if the press would ensure that information gets out, and we want to start about 5 o'clock today getting that accomplished. And that will take place at Prichard Stadium on the drive-through of Prichard Stadium. And we will line those goods out in front and hand them out. But I want to share this with you. I won't be asking for driver's license, where you live, any of those things. I don't care. What I care about is that if you're hungry and you want the food that are here or the other products that's available to you, I want you to have it. And I want you to understand that as long as the food is available, the other products are available, I want to hand it out. But when it's gone, it's gone. But I will not spend time checking your ID to see whether or not you live in this city or somewhere else. We are our brothers and sisters keeper, and we want to do as much as we can do for the citizens of this community. Those are the 3 areas in which I just wanted to touch base with you, share, and make sure that the citizens are aware of the things that are important so that we can work together as a team and get things done here in this city. Thank you. I will be providing that to the media. They are still working to make sure that site is up and ready to go. And so I want to make sure that it is up and ready to go before I put that out. We're creating a site so that the citizens can send in their pictures, and they can memorialize the information, and we can have it as well, so we can be there to support them in what they're trying to get accomplished as it relates to FEMA, and assist them the best way that we can as a city. So I will be providing that to you as soon as it's ready, and that will be an address where they can call in and provide that information that we can help support them with these other organizations like FEMA and the Disaster Assistance Relief Plan.
One more time, you'll be doing the food giveaway today at 5.
Yes.
Today at 5, okay.
Today at 5 at Prichard Stadium on the drive-through.
And one more thing, I know you mentioned Prichard Water and just, getting rid of the water board as much as possible to kind of get this resolved. What's the timeline as far as when you plan to kind of start that motion to allow some type of relief for citizens dealing with high water bills?
Well, and that's the point of that. We have to work together. That's one of the things that exists when you have important entities of this city who even refuse to come to the table to discuss these concerns and matters. That's the very beginning of the problem. I want to pull us in, work as a team. We can have differences, but we got to work through them together to whatever they are. But first of all, we got to care enough about those who we're serving to give them the answers that they're seeking. And it takes us to sit down at a table and have those kind of discussions. Regardless to, even with us having legal issues beyond that, we need to set that aside, because that's a whole different situation there. We need to talk about how we're gonna give these citizens some relief, power here today, now. And if our city council would really look at fulfilling that obligation to either restore a person to the board or to remove and put someone else on the board, we need to do that. We need to do that. And we don't need to look at it from the standpoint that what I've gotten since I've been here, you have, council that says, well, I don't like the policy, it's not clear. This is the same policy we've been using and replacing the people on the board since the existence of this city. Don't make that an excuse. Either you with the citizens and wanting to fix our issues and concerns, or you want to continue to pretend otherwise. Your actions speak for itself by your actions. And we need to do this. And the citizen can't continue, the business can't continue to pay these large water bills without having the reason why they are so high. And to say to the citizens, you probably got a leak on your side, is not an answer. We can't continue to allow them to give that to them as an answer. And the bill should be clear. If you're reading the meter, it should say this is from reading your meter. If you're doing an estimate, it should say this is an estimate. I had one of the citizens, they asked that question, they said, if we couldn't do this legally, we wouldn't be doing it. That's not an answer either. We need to fix this, and we need to fix it now.
So do you advise the citizens and businesses to continue to write you all, let you know their problem, or is this something that they need to continue to, take up with the water board as far as?
No, that's just it. I'm saying, we all in this together. So we need to work together, citizens, the city, and with Prichard Water. We really do. And we need to find some common ground to have conversations so we can work through whatever these processes are as it relates to this water and the water bill, and come up with some real answers. If I have a bill that's saying this is my actual reading, and you're not reading the meter, then you're lying to the public. And if you're estimating the reading, just say you're estimating, but at some point, you gotta do something with that estimation of that bill. You just can't I'm estimating. Because you're charging someone a fee, and you're saying that's what you owe me. Right? So we can't do that. We can't continue with the unilateral raising of fees and bills as it relates to the city or these citizens. And we must do something now.
How long do you think these problems have been going on as far as the meter readings? And also, what long-term effects do you worry about for the city?
Well, my greatest concern is that our citizens suffer already. You got to know that this is an underserved and underrepresented community with a income level just right at par in many areas of this city, who struggles every day to meet their basic needs: food, housing, clothing, those things, and their medical needs. And when we're paying high water bills, and now you got to determine whether or not you're gonna pay that water bill and keep from getting cut out, or you're gonna pay for your medicine or food. That's my number one concern. And my citizens should not have to suffer through that process as it relates to whether or not they have to do either one of them. We should correct our issues with the water and assist them with the other matters that come up. This has been a long run of this in terms of trying to get something fixed as it relates to this. And it has come to this point today that we can no longer just sit back and just let it be as it is without addressing it as a city government, that places the folks who sits on the board itself, and allow this to continue. We can't do this. Our citizens are suffering. And as the mayor of the city, I cannot continue to stand here and go back and forth with my colleagues who are elected here to serve our citizens and not do what's proper when it comes to this Prichard Water. And so I want to work with Prichard Water. I can't make them work with this city. I, as the mayor, has gone over and made efforts and got zero response and telling me as a mayor I cannot engage about anything related to anybody else's bill. But it's not anybody else's bill, it's the citizens' bill, in which I am the mayor, who I represent the citizens.
How disappointing is it to, fight on behalf of the citizens and businesses here in Prichard, and to be told that from the water board? I mean, what other steps can you take as far as, making sure that it gets resolved? Because I know you're there to fight for people, and to be told that, this is not your issue, this is their individual issue, like you said, that's not an answer that you want to hear or you expect them to be telling people. So as far as you, I know you said, getting rid of the water board and thinking of the next step, but as far as you, what can you do personally to get that immediate action like now?
Well, next to litigating some of these matters and concerns, representing the citizens of this city, that may end up being the only option. And asking the city to join in that. But we must get the information, data, and get it right, those experiences and what have you. So don't not share your experiences with the office. You got to. We need to compile that information and provide it to those that need to have it. And in our discussion between the council and Prichard Water, we need to have that so we can have these discussions. So we're not just sitting there just going back and forth about what we believe the information is. Here it is. It speaks to itself. And those are just part of the things that we can do. But I'm gonna fight for the citizens to make sure, if it takes me doing that, then that's what I'm gonna do. And if it takes me having to deal with my own city government council in terms of what that duties and responsibilities are, and replacing those individuals who are sitting there, who obviously don't have the citizens' interests at heart. They're more into the other side, the bottom line, and how to create a stronger black line rather than a red one. We need to address that to that point. So we're making sure that we're doing all that we can do to make sure that our citizens have a better quality of life and not paying these outstanding bills and have to, determine whether or not they're gonna eat, sleep, or get meds, or go and pay a high water bill that may not even be theirs.
Can I change the subject just a little bit?
Last question.
The Prichard Stadium. Can you talk a little bit about the needs for Prichard Stadium and where that money to fix it up might come from?
Just briefly. Prichard Stadium has had a need, it has been a need for the stadium years and years back. I can recall as a young man myself, running track and field at Prichard Stadium was the Southeastern Relays, which was a national track and field meet that was held at Prichard Stadium. After the Southeastern Relays no longer existed at Prichard Stadium, and many other events was not taking place at Prichard Stadium, the loss of interest diminished, the loss of having Prichard Stadium as a priority diminished, and those of us who were here prior to me, I know there had been many conversations of wanting to do some things at Prichard Stadium. There was a great attempt even by Ron Mayor Davis when he tried to make some corrections when he was here at the stadium. But if the stadium is being underserved and underused, right, then the citizens of this city is going to expect you to take that revenue and focus more to their infrastructural needs, police, fire, public works, garbage and trash and those things, and these roads that are in dire need of repair with their revenue dollars. Sure, we're going to have a mass amount of folks that want to have a great stadium. Right? We got to have activities and things like that to take place. I understood just the other day the council started talking about putting together a committee to establish what would take place at the stadium and how that may look in the future. But today, as it relates to the stadium, it could be a very important piece. Blood and Fire, both high schools are in this area, but they are under the Mobile County School Board system. And so we want to be partners with them. I want to be partners and have been partners with them since the very beginning. And I will continue to be partners with them. But it is high time that we sit down If that's a priority for the citizens, a priority for the city government, and a priority for the school system for that matter, it's time to sit down and talk about how to do that. Because that's an expense that you really can't burden down on the city on. You really can't. You know, just think about it. You're talking about someone who has a large budget, and I think I heard our commissioner said that it would cost about $3 million to build a stadium at Vibrant, and didn't think that money should be placed and used to do anything at the stadium. But we gotta sit down and have a plan. If you really believe in what we're saying about what the needs of our young folks in the schools are, and we're partners in it, why wouldn't you? So, I would like to see that opportunity come where we can actually sit down and have a real conversation about that. This state has been going down for the last 30, 40 years. Whether yesterday, whether in this administration, whether in the last administration, it has consistently been a disarray throughout the years. So this fanfare that all of a sudden, you know, look at this, and it's much larger than that. Right? And I know that my citizens want to see the infrastructure of this city prioritized even above that. My last answer.